Jaipur is like the middle child of India's 3 Golden Triangle cities. New Delhi is sort of the biggest and most powerful sibling, Agra is the little sibling that gets all the attention, and then for most people, Jaipur is also sort of just there. Couldn't be me. It was the city that first made me fall in love with India, but probably not for the reasons that you think. This is the Pink City, the capital of the state of Rajasthan, Jaipur. In my last video, I mentioned how impressed I was with the Vande Bharat express train in India. And honestly, there are some pretty great buses too. Many people take sleeper buses between Indian cities, but with the trip between Agra and Jaipur being only about 5 hours long during the day, for me, a regular bus was just fine. No sooner did I arrive, check in, and start making plans before it started raining. Like really hard. Thunder, lightning, all of it. The power actually went out for a little bit. No umbrella was going to save me from this. I only had 2 days in Jaipur and now the first was shot. I got some dinner at the hotel and watched the rain from the porch, which was beautiful to see, but I have to admit that I was worried that my whole trip to Jaipur would be rained out. I crossed my fingers, hoped for the best, and ordered a full day tuk-tuk tour scheduled to start the next morning. And it ended up leading to kind of a super awkward situation between 2 different tuk-tuk drivers. This is nobody's fault, it's crazy that it happened. I got a message from my scheduled tuk-tuk driver named Bablu saying that he would be there at 10 a.m. So I went outside my hotel that morning and saw the tuk-tuk driver sitting there ready to go. I said, "Hey, are you Bablu?" He said, "Yes." And so we were off. He started off by taking me to a place where supposedly very few tourists go, which I actually do believe because aside from myself and a few other people, it was actually pretty empty. It's the GAITORE ki CHHATRIYAN, which are the crematorium grounds for the Katwaha, a Rajput clan that ruled throughout the region. All these amazing ornate structures you're seeing mark the places where the leaders were cremated. My driver came inside with me and also acted as my photographer and guide throughout the space. And he was really good at both. 3 for 1, driver, guide, and photographer. He knew so much about the space, he took really good and interesting photos. We were winning. Now the whole time I was there, I kept getting these calls on my cell phone, but I kept ignoring them. They're probably spam, right? I was trying to be present. We got back into the tuk-tuk and started heading to the next destination, and I finally checked the calls. They were from Bablu, the tuk-tuk driver. But wait, hold on, I had been with Bablu this whole time. What is happening? I finally answered the phone and it was Bablu. Like, the real Bablu. Oh my god, I f***ed up. I hung up and yelled out, "Stop the tuk-tuk!" It was way too dramatic. I don't know why I said that. It just so happened that a tuk-tuk driver named Babu was sitting in the exact spot at the exact moment that I was supposed to meet up with Bablu. So after some awkward apologies and an even more awkward coordination of a meetup point, I finally left Babu behind and met up with my real guide, Bablu. Thankfully, Bablu was also great. Bablu took me to the most iconic and can't miss site of Jaipur, the Amber Fort. Many cities in India have forts, but this is easily the best one. It's so ornate. If you're interested in architecture in any way, you're gonna be absolutely obsessed with it. Now, people will try to sell you on riding a jeep up to the top, but it's not necessary. It's got quite a few steps, but if it's doable for me, it's doable for you. And while part of the fort is closed off and actually still used for military purposes, there's a pretty big chunk of it that's open to tourists, and once you get your ticket, you can sort of explore it however you want. My favorite parts were the Hall of Mirrors, where everyone gathers around and does photo shoots and videos, and also the underground tunnels which connect different parts of the fort. There's also a cafe, literally, within the fort. Now I know it's new and was built for tourists, but I do like imagining that it was there hundreds of years ago for soldiers to stop in for a little snack. I definitely could have spent a couple more hours at the Amber Fort, easily. But I had to get to the pink stuff. There was no way I was coming to the Pink City and not seeing pink stuff. The pink stuff is the old stuff. Now, what I really like about Jaipur is that its old city area is contained in a way that actually makes it somewhat walkable, which is pretty rare in India. The reason it's pink is because back in the day, pink was considered the color of hospitality in India. And so, in 1876, the Maharaja had the city painted pink to welcome Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. The first pink place that Bablu took me to is sort of the iconic image of Jaipur. It's the Hawa Mahal, which means the Palace of the Winds. It was built to give the royal ladies a place to observe what was happening down on the street without being seen themselves. Very mysterious, very cinematic. We love sneaky royalty. Afterwards, we went to the palace. Like the proper palace. For Indian standards, it's a little expensive to go in. It's 1,000 rupees for foreigners, which comes out to just about $12 US. I do think it's worth it, but totally up to you. It's cool to just walk around for a while. With their permission, I had the chance to take some photos and videos of the guards because I knew that they were going to expect a tip, and they did, but it's totally fine because they were very gracious about it. There's also an art and photography museum inside. No photo or video is allowed in there, but there's a whole section of photography from a former Maharaja of Rajasthan, which was really interesting to see. We love to see an artist in power. I was sort of craving a little more museum time after that, and Bablu read my mind. Or I just told him, I don't know, I can't remember. But either way, he had the hookup. I loved this museum. I think the building itself is stunning, just in the way that its hard edges affect the light coming in and passing through. It's called the Albert Hall Museum, and it's the State Museum of Rajasthan. It's really one of those museums that just has everything, you know? It has sculpture, it has paintings, weapons, shields, and it has a haunted mummy. Okay, well, I don't know for sure that it's haunted, but I mean, I had no expectations for this whatsoever, but it really is one of those places that has something cool for everyone. There were also a couple guys putting on this random musical puppet performance in the courtyard. I only got to see a couple minutes, but it was very precious and pure, even considering that there was a huge snake puppet actively trying to eat the human puppet. To be honest, I could relate to the snake, in like the hungry sense. I was hungry. In the US, we often clump Indian food into one big category. I think Jaipur is where I really learned how different the food is in different states and different regions. I had 2 Rajasthani meals in Jaipur, and both were amazing. The first came at the suggestion of Bablu, and it was called the Royal Darbar. I ended up ordering mutton keema curry. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of mutton, but this was the best that I've had. It was also seasoned in a way that's pretty different from most other curries. It was pretty mild in its flavoring and sort of oily texture-wise. That said, the big thing to try in Rajasthan are the thalis. I had a huge thali from a very fancy restaurant called the Colonnade at the Raj Mahal Palace Hotel. It's probably the fanciest place that I have ever visited on my own. The grounds of the hotel are huge and beautiful and very pink, and everyone there greets you and says namaste. I'm pretty sure I was underdressed, but there was only one other person in the restaurant who was also a friendly American solo traveler, so I think I dodged a bullet. A thali is like a sampler platter. It's lots of little dishes that make up one meal. It was perfect for someone like me who wanted to try many different foods from the region in a short period of time. And wow, I did. I had so much. There is lamb and chicken and yogurt patties and dumplings and berries and lentils and bread and rice and pomegranates and beans. It was truly like a whole feast. I'm certain that I wouldn't have been able to finish everything even if I was sharing with another person. It was so much food. My favorites from this set were probably the tikka and jadpuri chicken, and also all the desserts were so good. Now this was expensive, even for US standards, but I think when you consider the quality of the ambiance and the restaurant, in addition to the food and the service, it was worth it. Now, I only really had one day because of the rain when I arrived, but I feel like there's enough to do in Jaipur to last you several more days. There's this whole astrological center, which is right next to the palace, called Jantar Mantar, which I missed. There's this mostly underwater palace called the Jal Mahal. Now, it's closed for renovations right now anyway, so you can't go inside, but it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. There are wildlife safaris that you can do. So wish that I had time for that. On the whole, I think Varanasi might be the most impactful city to visit in India from a cultural standpoint, and I loved Kochi, Delhi, and Mumbai for totally different reasons as well. But from an activities and entertainment standpoint, I feel like Jaipur is easily the best city in India. It might be the middle child of India's Golden Triangle, but us middle children, we like to have fun, and Jaipur is an absolute blast.